G'day, legends. It's Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crannk.com today, tonight, wherever you are in the world. It's a great pleasure that I'm joined by Mr. Bob Vigna from New York death metal institution, Immolation. We're here to talk about the band's upcoming new album, Descent, which is due out April 10th through Nuclear Blast. This is the only thing you need to be getting people for Easter, that's for sure. Everything that's gone into the next chapter for one of death metal's most enduring and uncompromising bands. Bob, thank you so much for joining me, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be
Mate,
here.
this is an absolute pleasure. I'm going to shoot off the first question that's totally off field, but I've asked hundreds of bands this. It gives me some interesting responses. What's one of your earliest core musical memories that sparked your love of music?
I definitely have to say, I mean, I was a big fan of Maiden was like my ultimate band, and of course, bands like, of course, Priest too, Priest, Maiden, uh, Ronnie James Dio, Black Sabbath, Ozzy, all that stuff. Obviously getting into Metallica and everything, et cetera, et cetera. But the first show I was at was Last in Line, Ronnie James Dio tour. And yeah, it was like I just went with a couple. I was like 14, I think. I went with a couple of friends, took a train out to Long Island from Brooklyn, and we just went on our own. And that was like my first experience with the live show type of situation, and going to like a coliseum with thousands of kids that were into metal. Because like when you're in high school and stuff, it's like you'll have those five kids that might have a metal shirt on that you'll strike up a conversation with, but like to be there, like like wow, it's just it was a big kind of had an effect on me. So anyway, so we went there, and then to see that live, you know what I mean? A band that you're just been listening to and totally into, and see Ronnie James Dio on stage with the band playing those songs. That really was like an experience for me, and definitely one of the experiences that kind of like had that spark that really got me interested in playing for sure.
And fast forward to now, thousands of kids coming to see you guys as well. Descent, 12th Immolation album. It's an absolute fucking ripper. I was just saying before how much I love the Acts of God album. Tell me a little bit about what you wanted to achieve with this album that you didn't achieve with Acts of God.
It's never like, it's only coming up with new stuff. I mean, that's the
Yep.
way I look at every record. Is like, okay, next, you know what I mean? And like, what can we do now? And, or whatever. You're just trying to write new songs. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. I can't think of like, there's no plan. Like, all right, this is going to be this kind of a record, or we're going to do something super different, or we're going to be this kind of band now. It's like you just write new music. So it's like riff per riff, song per song, and that's how it comes out. And it kind of develops itself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I love Acts of God came out amazing. I mean, we were totally like, every record we do was like Atonement, came out really, really good, and then it was just like, then Acts of God, we're like, wow, okay, we were able to at least live up to that, I think, and we came up with some really cool stuff with that. And then, the more that happens, you're just like, all right, now what, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always a process. It could be a daunting process, especially in the beginning, and even toward the end when you're like, all right, I got one more song and we'll have enough, and but it's got to be good, So it's just always that, And then once it was done, though, man, I tell you, I was super amazed at how happy. This is probably the first record with everyone's just completely ecstatic and happy about. I think the music, the way the production was, came out phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, it came out to be a great record, and we just feel happy about that, and I guess lucky. I mean, you put a lot of work into it, so you hope you get a good result. And we were just very happy with the result, and kind of relieved, but now very excited for people to hear it. Because we're really, really amped about this one.
Yeah, it's an absolutely ripping album and it goes down really well at 5 a.m. with a nice black fucking coffee as well. I loved the themes. It's ta obviously
Yeah.
tackling themes that Immolation have done over your fucking whole career as well, but you jump into some other themes as well. A bit more of the Gnostic foreboding side of things, some failed empires, endless wars. Definitely the corruption of the human soul, which is fucking always there from your side as a songwriter. How much do those themes affect the mood and shape of the riffs before Ross even lays down vocals?
Oh yeah, it's always there. I mean, it's always you know that's the emotion you go through when you're writing stuff. You know what I mean? Trying to come up with stuff, and part of it is just like, oh, this sounds fucking cool, and you write it, and whatever. But then as you're putting stuff together, I'm always looking for like, the darker stuff with a lot of atmosphere or whatever, just whatever works, or certain things that can carry a song, you know what I mean? So yeah, you're always thinking about that. And sometimes when you're writing stuff and you get the parts down, or you get the song together, then sometimes lines or lyrics will just start coming to you, and you write those down because you're listening to it and you just almost imagine what's being sung over this, because this sounds pretty sinister. What would be, and it just things just come to you, and you write them down. And yeah, so there's always the emotion was always there with the music. And then once we really don't tackle the lyrics until all the songs are done, because
Yeah.
it's just the way the nature of the beast, in the sense of like you might have ideas, like Ross has a bunch of ideas, I'll have a bunch of ideas, and we'll take those ideas and we just kind of have them, off to the side. But Ross has a good way of knowing what songs, like, okay, this is a subject, I think this will work with that song, and I'm like, oh, cool, and that's kind of like, and then we'll start working on stuff and start putting it together. But I mean, but yeah, the music does speak to us for the lyrics as well. But it does take them all being done. And with every record, that's usually very close to studio time. And sometimes when we're in the studio, but this time we got a little bit of a head jump on it, and then we finished up. But yeah, I mean, the foreboding and the world around us and how we view things, and obviously we're always looking at the darker side of things, and just the way the world is today. I mean, that's why this album's called Descent, because I feel like everything's going down, you know what I mean? We're descending as mankind, it seems. Everything's going backwards or down, and it's like, it's a crazy time, and we might have been in certain areas before in history. And in those areas, I don't think we should be repeating. And then I think we're in a lot of areas that we haven't been in before. And we're kind of just almost on the edge of the precipice there, like,
I
like,
know.
we can fall in. What are we doing here? So it's been a crazy few years. So yeah, and I think everyone's kind of like this now. They're either like this or they're just like, everyone's kind of got like that fear, that kind of feeling of where are we heading? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of over everyone's head these days. And so yeah, a lot of that inspiration came from what's been going on over the past few years, so we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and I got to touch on, man, the artwork is always amazing. Talking about Descent and the themes we were just talking about right then. That artwork, the cover art, just fucking totally encapsulates all of what you were just mentioning, then thinking
Yeah.
about it and looking at it right here.
And that's the beauty of it, because like Eleron Cantor, he had been in touch with us many years ago, but we had already been working with other artists. So when we had Acts of God, we decided, okay, we're gonna, let's get in touch with Eleron and see, what he'd be into. And yeah, it worked out, amazing for the last record, of course. And like the last record, this time around, he went really out of his way this time around, because things were really tight, as far as timing. So he kind of put some things aside or whatever, and we gave him all our ideas. We wrote everything out. We kind of tried to explain to him what the meaning was, what the feeling was, what we were trying to portray in the scene, and having that whole like long, the way it folds out, like we wanted the whole long piece, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
to create that more that feeling of descent, the whole, you're watching the whole thing. And anyway, obviously we gave him all our input and let him listen to some of the pre-production music. And then from that point, it's on him. Like he was able to create, because we didn't say, okay, we want the figure to look like this or be in this position or whatever. And he just created he had his vision, and man, he just actually knocked it out of the park. You know what I mean? It says so much with being so simplistic. And that to me is probably the best part about it. You know what I mean? And just the emotion in the face, and how he positioned, and the fact that, the angels just, the last thing it's got to grab onto is its wings, because
Wings,
it's
yeah.
got nothing else to grab on. It's just like, it's amazing, the stuff he came up with, and how he did that. Such a simple thing, but it says so much, and we're super excited about it. And the colors he used, and in turn, we had Santiago Yaramillo create all the inner pieces, and he did a fantastic job with that. And yeah, I mean, the packaging just really came out awesome, and we're super, super excited about it. And yeah, we love the cover. It's great.
Yeah, it can't be stated how important it is for me as well. I think that art and the artists that represent it stay intact, and I love the big canvas paintings that he does. They just look fucking amazing on the album
Yeah, it's
artwork.
awesome.
Yeah, it can't be stated how good they are, mate. Adversary was the first real taste of the album, then Attrition followed it. What made those two write songs the first ones to kind of introduce off of Descent?
It just, those are the ones that seem to, like, that Adversary was probably one of the shorter songs, I guess you could say, out of them. I'm there, timing wise, it's probably one of the shorter ones. But that being said, it was a quick track. it hits hard, but it's got like most of the songs, it's got like every element of what we do. But that one just more so. It's like yeah, it's just it starts and it does not stop, no matter if it's heavy, slow, whatever. I mean, it just fast or whatever. It's just like a hammer, that one. So yeah, great song, and I liked it even more after we started. We put it out as a single, and you know what I mean, like because we're learning the songs and the album since it was done. Once it's done, that's when we're actually listening to it and getting the
Yeah.
full effect. So that song became even better than I could imagine, like most of them. And yeah, it became a great first track. And then we decided on Attrition because that track is quite the opposite, where although there's a lot of intensity in it, it's just slow and brooding and dark and very depressing. And so that was a kind of like a different side. So that element was nice to put out second as to show kind of the different sides of the record, which the record does cover just about all of that,
Oh,
usually in every song, honestly. But yeah, it was just kind of a little taste of this, a little taste of that. And I think the reaction has been great so far, so we couldn't be happier about that.
oh, damn straight. It's an amazing album, dude. I can't state it enough. I've probably said that about 5 times
Oh,
already,
thank
dude.
you.
And you're playing
Very
like
much
as we
appreciated. Trust me.
as you has always had that unmistakable feel to it. And you, like we mentioned, you're always pushing each album. You're like, oh, you're pushing. It's like everything is good, and then you push a little bit more. You're like, don't ever rest on your laurels. What keeps that creative fire alive for you personally after what, 4 decades in?
I don't know, but it's well, we're just excited. We're into it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can't not be into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to enjoy what you're doing, and we do. And don't get me wrong, it's not easy, creating music, especially after so many records, and trying to not only kind of keep the core of what the band is about, but also, just try to expand, not on purpose, but just try and say, what can we, where, come up some parts I come up with. I'm like, yeah, I guess this does work. I tried something a little different, but it seems to work. So whatever. But I mean, that being said, yeah, it's we're just passionate about it. We enjoy it, and we're excited about it. And even though it's hard doing, when it's all done, we're like, wow, we got a whole new record of great songs that we love and love the way it came out. So it's a good feeling when it's done.
Yeah.
And again, it's just more about just being passionate, enjoying the music, and we're just really into it. And that, I think, goes a long way, and it helps us in being creative for sure.
Yeah, and with the album landing on April 10th, you guys have just been over to Europe at the start of the year with Mayhem and Marduk, and you would have probably got a
Mhm.
chance to play a few of the tracks. And
Yeah.
now we've got the North American run as well with Behemoth, Deicide, and Rotting Christ. If anyone wants to send me to that, thank you. That would be just fucking amazing. The
Yeah.
Godless Four. How excited are you to get these tracks playing live as well?
Oh, very much so. I mean, I'm excited to play with these bands and go out with these bands because, we've toured with Riding Christ before, we've toured with DSI before, all great guys. Um, and Behemoth, we have not been out with before, but we've been wanting to tour with them for years, and we've known those guys for years, and we know most of their crew for years. So it's going to be cool, and it's always great going out with such great bands and bands that have been like us in this. They're all lifers, you know what I mean? We've all been doing this for years, and we all come from that underground scene back in the day, and it's awesome. The fact that the music's still around and we're all still around doing it and able to do these nice shows. It's awesome. So yeah, and we're looking forward to playing the new stuff. Absolutely, we'll be playing. We played the song Adversary on the last tour because that was the only one that was out. So we did pull that one out, but this one. We're going to be playing definitely a lot more new stuff, mixing with a couple of old ones here and there. But we don't always have a lot of time, so we'll do the best we can. But it's going to be a lot of new stuff for sure.
And I'm sure every Aussie has asked you this over the last couple of days. What's the chances of Immolation getting back down under here?
Oh, definitely. We're trying to figure that out now. We're already kind of like, it's in the motions. It's just a matter of when, you know what I mean? We got to figure out the timing. It might be sometime at the end of this year or sometime next year, but fingers crossed it'll be at the end of this year. But we just have to see how things work out. But we're definitely it's on our mind, that's for sure. So we didn't forget about you. We're definitely we're planning.
It's
So
going to make
hopefully
things
soon.
a bit easier if everyone runs out and buys the album when this fucking drops on April 10th. Hammers the fuck out of it so the neighbours can hear it, mate. I've got to ask you one question about the book, Into Everlasting Fire, the official history of immolation. If people haven't checked that out as well, it's a fucking ripper. The book seems to show that you guys were built as much by hesitation, struggle, and almost missed moments as by the obvious milestones. Looking back now, do you think that harder path actually made Immolation the band yous are today.
Yeah, I mean, if tough times build character, then
Yeah.
we got a lot of character.
Damn fucking
We've been
straight.
through a lot. Well, yeah, I mean, everything, no matter good or bad, you always get something out of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's cool to look back at those times, and when I look back now, I'm like, well, I do prefer where we are now, that's for sure. But there were great times back then, and the way things were done were a lot different, of course. And so things are a little easier today with certain things. But we love where we are now, and we're still doing, I feel, great stuff. So it's awesome. But the book was done by Kevin Stewart Pankow, a good friend of ours, released by Decibel, and
Yep.
yeah, he did a phenomenal job. And I think the best part about the book, I'll say, is that okay, it's our story, but it's a reflection of the scene back then, and
Yeah.
you have all different elements and people from record labels to people that are in the scene. Even Kevin himself, he was part of that scene all those years too. So, the fact that you're getting an understanding of the scene itself and how it was back then, before computers, before whatever, you know what I mean? Like it was a whole different world back then. So it's just, to me, that's my favorite part of the book is you're seeing it's kind of a reflection of that time, not just us, you know what I mean? Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's an absolute ripper book. Congratulations as well. Congratulations on the album. It does drop April 10th through Nuclear Blast. Bob, last words, shout outs, thank yous are all on you, my friend.
Thank you for the interview. I appreciate you spending the time with me, and thank everyone in Australia for all the support over the years. And we'll definitely be there soon, and can't wait to come and play the new stuff for you.